Welcome back to the show, guys. Uh,
Incand-
and quickly, introduction. Quickly. I was driving to work
in-
the other day, and I heard this thing on the radio, and I wanted to. I just heard a bit about it. I needed to go check out what it was. I actually managed to track it down on BBC Sounds. I worked out what time it was playing and tracked it down, and this is what it is. This is what I heard. So let's get into it, guys. I'll try not to talk over it too much.
Incandescent, written and read by Claire Duffy. You had never met Rapunzel, but you'd heard of her. She was a big name where you're from, and you had mutual friends from way back, and she seemed sound and cool, and you needed to let down your hair. And before her, you never understood towers, and you never knew how to get
Tires.
through things like walls. You're hearing the word tower all about the place now. So you're keen to see what happens behind walls. You're curious
What?
about women who rage like Rapunzel rages and then glows sizzly bright. And you've seen how this bothers men around here. You didn't have Rapunzel's bright lightning spark thing, but you are a bright spark, and you have rage. You've taken to stress smoking the odd one and then the odd pack, and now you're on the vape and it's keeping the rage at bay. You are the kind of girl at risk from a tower.
A tire. Right, do you understand? Uh,
For hot
oh
girls,
god, I fucked it
it
up
wasn't
there.
work thing, but you are a bright spark, and you have rage. You've taken
So, uh, can you see what this is? Can you? Because I can't. I don't know what the fuck this is. If you know what the fuck this is, please write in the comments.
to stress smoking the odd one and then the odd pack, and now you're on the vape and it's keeping the rage at bay. You are the kind of girl at risk from a tower. So you were out in the rain watching a TikTok on how to chisel stone for hot girls? It wasn't working for you like in the tutorial, so you were trying to tackle your way into her tower by the sea. When Rapunzel saw you there,
Right, what the fuck is she on, right? And right, bear in mind, this was on Radio 4. So, like, you know, when you're listening to Radio 4, like, you're putting it on to just listen to all these, like, posh English people to, like, all these, like, upper crust types, like, just go over the facts and figures of the day. Like, yeah, the government has proposed an increase of 3% in overall borrowing. And it's just like the most boring, it's the most boring bollocks. So, like, when this came on, I thought I was like, "Is this fucking Radio Ulster? What's going on here? Is my radio broke?" And then it was like, "Nope, this is Radio 4, right? So just check us out." I was like, "Why is there someone from Northern Ireland on Radio 4?" And like, this is what it was. This is what it was, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Like, people are going to be hearing this and just thinking, "What the WTF?" Like,
salt water wind whipping you around the head. You threw down broken tools, you abandoned plans now. You needed to learn how to undo a wall because you just kept running at them. And your right side's all bruised, and you're the girl with a cracked rib and a black eye and a point to prove. Rapunzel had heard of you too, but she thought you were mad in
it gets worse, guys. It actually gets worse. Just let me play it out because we'll never get through it.
the head because that's what she had heard and what men had told her. You laugh when she tells you this, but there is a bee sting in the laugh,
Question
or a
mark?
scorpion sting, even sharp and quick, like a can't pretend it didn't happen, keep the pain for later sting. So when you meet Rapunzel, it's
A
like
what?
looking into a star, maybe, with all the shining
What?
she does. And after stinging from being
No,
called
guys.
mad, you feel
I
a
have
little,
to hear that wee bit again.
or a scorpion sting, even sharp and quick, like a can't pretend it didn't happen, keep the pain for later sting.
Like, I can't pretend but keep the pain for later thing. What the fuck is this?
So when you meet Rapunzel, it's like looking into a star, maybe, with all the shining she does. And after stinging from being called mad, you feel a little tingly, stung, struck. There are a lot of sensations going on for you, and some of them quaky, and some of them make you nervous. You didn't believe in rumour mongering, but you also heard a lot of Burn the Witch, and you heard about Rapunzel's incandescent danger. and that
What
she
the
had taken up
fuck is she
murdering
talking
by
about?
taunting people with her light, and that she pulled in boats from the sea like some godless anti-lighthouse. Drowned sailors beached, and planes were coming down all about the shop, and lads were saying Armageddon. When you meet her, she doesn't seem so
I'm, I'm gonna, I'm gonna be sick.
scary or murderous. You'll find out that she can't help her glowing, and maybe ships can wreck themselves, and maybe them ones should have thought about that before putting her in a tower on the coast. But wasn't that typical of men not to think of these things? Rapunzel asks you how you knew that man spreading rumours about you being a mentalist, and you say he was a boyfriend of yours at a young age, before adulthood, and she points out that he is older and tearing down a woman and a young one and you, and sure, what was so wrong with madness anyway? You realise, you agree actually, that's fair. Madness
What?
is something you relate to more now, grown up, because you recently caught it, like a lot of people did. You want to tell Rapunzel this, so you do. You say, I'm chemically imbalanced. She says, I thought so. You say, is it my pupils? They are massive. She says, it's how you think. You think like me. She says her light has got more erratic since she was here in the tower.
This is disgusting.
You think it's got a link to anger. She says, you're on to something, girl. And she vapes. You start telling Rapunzel lots of truth. You tell her about a man who broke your heart a bit recently.
This is really stinking, man. This is fucking stinking.
And you're sort of obsessing and trying to work out if it was a real sentiment that he didn't want to be with anybody right now, or if it was just you he didn't want, which you suspect. You tell her you hate that he is good in bed. She says that is a shame. You say maybe you only hoped he was things you wanted and shared in daydreams, because he pointed out what you were missing, and he said he was those things, and he wanted to be them for you, and he wanted you. And then he said, you got carried away, girl. You only hear what you want to hear. Sure, wouldn't it be just like you to make things up in your excitable, confused, mad little head? And you thought you had things sussed, and now you're here telling Rapunzel that you don't know anything, actually. And you're mortified that until right then, with the heartbreak, you were walking about the place thinking you knew things about life, thinking you had the right to walk with your head up high. There were lanes you were mucking about on, pure buzzing at all these other wee side lanes you'd discovered there are. And you were running about them all, and people kept telling you to get back to that original lane you were on, you absolute idiot. You're mad, wee doll, thinking you had the right to run about the place trying things,
This is fucking bollocks. I really don't like this.
asking for things, changing your mind. Could you not just calm down?
Fuck me, I gotta hear that bit again.
You need shut up.
Sorry.
You need lanes you discovered there are, and you were running about them all,
Your
and people kept
mind.
telling you to get back to that original lane you were on,
Wee doll.
you absolute idiot. You're mad, wee doll, thinking you had the right to run about the place trying things, asking for things, changing your mind. Could you not just calm down? You need shut up. You need shut up somewhere walled and high. Someone needs to give you a slap. You need somebody to grab you right in the... There's towers for girls like you know.
Tires.
And they pushed you back and they said, stay here in this lane. And you did so like a dog, like a good girl. And you said sorry, probably. You weren't,
This is fucking bollocks, man. I don't
but
like
you
this.
felt like you should say it because you were embarrassed, because they shouted at you and said stay and all, and now you are back where you started. You think you might be a romantic, and you loathe that this might be the case, and you feel exposed even thinking something like that, and you feel like you're going to throw up at the thought of being a woman that is waiting for a prince or someone to hold a door for you or meet you and straight away want you forever, or what? Jesus.
Imagine that.
Rapunzel
That's
listens to this ramble worry. Then she says, so are you coming with me, babe? And you do.
Oh,
And
this
she
is
looks
fucking stinking. This is really stinking.
up the hair trick, bringing you with her. Her hair's grown long, and you are thinking about time. And you hold on. In the tower, you talk about you and princes and wanting, and you ask Rapunzel if she is embarrassed for you. Honestly, babe, there's worse secrets than your kink is romance. And you laugh before you realise you're laughing. And you confess that you know that the man that hurt you has got a new you, or someone he sleeps with who is more beautiful than you, and this makes you heavy inside. You tell Rapunzel that he said he liked your face and your body and your mind, and in that order. And you think now that this might be an insult on your intellect because you know he values minds in relation to his own and in how minds might reach towards the high standard of his mind. And because this new you is pretty, your smart thing, your kind thing, your getting him thing,
You're getting him thing. That's really stinking. That is for me. That's that. I think that was the bit maybe where I turned it on, and I was like, "Right, what the fuck is this? Like, what is this?" Like, and it just went on for another fucking 7 minutes. So like, I think this is where I came in, somewhere around here, like the wee doll bit. The bit she was like, "You need to slap wee doll" and all, and I was just like, "What the fuck is this? This is stinking."
and you think now that this might be an insult on your intellect because you know he values minds in relation to his own and in how minds might reach towards the high standard of his mind.
So I was like, "What the
And
fuck
because this
is
new
what's
you
going
is
on here?"
pretty, your smart thing,
You're
your
getting
kind
him,
thing, your
maybe
getting
thing.
him thing
You're getting him thing.
matters
It's
less. And you hate
it's the
that
way she
this new
says it.
you's
Like,
beauty has value that all your empathy doesn't quite equate to. You tell Rapunzel about your tactics for not dwelling on this. Not that you need tactics because you're okay, you're grand, you're dead on. It's not like you're even thinking about him or even wondering about the new you at all. And Rapunzel says, I get you. I've got you.
I've got you.
You tell her that you
I was just
wish.
in my car screaming at the radio. I was just fucking screaming at my radio, just going, "You are fucking mental, we girl. Like, who? What is this mentalness? Who allowed this?"
You could dream up things like freedom, tall ladders, and bulldozers. And you ask her, how do I know I didn't dream you up like a cure, like a story? And Rapunzel says, I don't think stories can feel like this. Until you met Rapunzel, you didn't know much about life in towers and why people locked women in them. And she would just say, oh, babe, you have a lot to learn. Stick with me. And she would throw down that lifeline of locks, locked away like she is, but working on it and hustling and making her own way out. And you think, huh, you're not even in a tower. And you don't think you could pull anyone up like she does here with you on ground level, you bogged down here, not carrying all that hair, and you free. Now in her room, in her tower, all quiet, she tells you words in the silence, and you lie in her lap and tell her things you dared not say out loud. Like that, the biggest ask you would ever have is, teach me how to be not so afraid. That the most exposed you'd ever been wasn't reading your words, wasn't naked, wasn't crying, wasn't sad in public, wasn't angry, but was saying, I don't know what I want, because how could someone love you or know you at all if you aren't anybody yet? If you don't know who you want to be, and you
Are you enjoying this, guys? I really hope you are. I really hope you're enjoying this. Like, I'm trying to bring a new direction into the show.
are grown up now, honey, you must have some idea. And Rapunzel says, while you're trying to work this all out, what do you think living is? You're going to wake up old someday and go, oh wait, I was me all along, worrying about how to figure me out. She says, girl, let me show you how to untangle this thing and make a stronger means to carry weight and pull people up. You nod, like you can do this. You think you couldn't survive in a tower, and it's quiet now. You hear water crash onto rock. You hear wind that sounds like a scream, but you sometimes hear that inside your head anyway. So with the waves, it's kind of soothing. You hear Rapunzel's breathing. She asks you to tell her something secret or scary. And you say, I wanted to look young in my wedding photos. And you say that you're older than you'd planned to be and you won't look young in them, and this is sad to you. She laughs at you then. Girl, I love that about you. You don't give your sad to the darkness, Rapunzel says. Then she's talking about people out there outside the tower that are reared on hate and they're fed mistrust and their fear is their main motivator. And look at the state of these hate-filled, hate-fueled people about the place, throwing out phrases that make no sense in the context of their prejudice. And when the powerful open the floor to hate, it gives these people permission to be more hateful. And maybe they do things like build walls around people like her and lock doors to towers. And you say, God, you're smart. And you say, I think I have a crush on you. And you say,
God, it's all that. It's all that. And then she says, "Girl, what are you talking about?" Sure. And then you think this, and then it's.
I think I have a
God.
crush on who I am around you.
Oh God. I gotta hear that line again. I'll try not to talk over this, guys.
Crush on you.
Hold on.
And you
Go
like
back a bit.
her.
Go, and then you say, "Come
And
on."
when the powerful open the floor to hate,
That's it.
it gives these people permission to be more hateful. And maybe they do things like build walls around people like her and lock doors to towers. And you say, God, you're smart. And you say, I think I have a crush on you. And you say, I think I have a crush on who I am around you. And she says, cool. And passes you her vape and you melt then. I like girls too, you say. And you're surprised at yourself for being upfront, like she brings out confidence in you. And she says, I'm not a girl, I'm a fairy tale. And you want to kiss her right then. And you do. One day she will tell you about when they locked her in the tower and threatened to tear her hair out, or covered in tar if she tried to get out. One day you will tell her that you could rid her of towers and build a safe, soft place with no locks of hair or locks on doors. And she will say she's not mad on long hair anyway, and she'd like to try a mullet. You will promise to get her out of this man-made tower trap and be...
I was going out of my fucking mind, man, when this was playing. Like, I was absolutely screaming in my car. Like, imagine this in your car just playing, like, on, like you know, like level 40. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's up really loud where people in the next car can probably hear it inside their car. Like, it was like I was blasting this. I couldn't believe what I was hearing and how long it was going on for. I was like, what is this? Why is no one else speaking on Channel 4? Why are they just letting her get away with this?
by her side, and you will tell her you're too far gone now to leave her there alone. You'll be thinking about her feminine body, but what even is a feminine body?
I just thought
You'll
it was absolute bollocks. I just thought she's just talking absolute bollocks. It's just, none of this makes any sense. Do you know what I mean? I didn't hear it from the start. Do you know what I mean? So, like, and even hearing it from the start now, it still doesn't make a whole lot of fucking sense, to be honest. Like,
tell her when you met her she was in a tower, but you were the one trapped.
tire.
And you don't know what to say, but there's flickers from the star-striking thing she does with light and her. One day you will tell her to look outside at the moon and the horizon on the water and look at those stars twinkling pretty. Rapunzel will look and say, that isn't stars, it's girls like me. You will follow her gaze and there will be towers clustered all together inland with light flickering in windows. And next thing, Rapunzel will be rummaging through a drawer and she'll have a blade. And she'll be tying her hair in knots and you'll help before you realise why, and then she'll hand you the blade and you will cut her hair. And you will say, so are you coming with me, babe? Hair will fall in knots and her light thing will kick off in throbs, not twinkling like it usually does, more angry than that, like friction, and sparks will fly and you will hear the screaming soaring towards you on the wind. But it's not in your head this time.
I was just like, what? Fucking my mind was blown, like. So I don't know. What do you think about that, guys?